Hey guys, so part three of Habitat for Humanity, the truth behind it all. Came prepared this time, so I won't be wandering, hopefully, so much with my thoughts. So, here we go. When we decided to stay in our house, after telling them that we were going to sell and they refused to buy it back, the CEO, he pressured us for a couple weeks right after to sell. Not to them though, privately, because they didn't want to hold the mortgage anymore, obviously. He refused to communicate through email, pretty much. He would contact by phone in the first place, leave a message, we would email back, say this is how we prefer to handle things, which is totally, it's okay by the contract, it's okay. They ask you how you want to communicate, and that's how they do it. But now, it's not good enough. So after he kind of pressures us to have a meeting with him to discuss the future options, even after we've told him we just want to stay here now, like we can't afford to buy another house on our own. That's the whole reason why we're in this organization in the first place. Yeah, so he pressured us quite a few times to sell. He pressured us to call him, actually, to talk, because of course he can't have it in writing what he wanted to say. And it's funny because we have those messages, the emails, that he wanted us to call, and when we said email is a preferred method, he tried a couple more times getting us to call, and then he just stopped. That was it. Like, he didn't actually say what he wanted to talk about in the first place. Sketchy. Second point here is the whole cutting corners thing of just, first of all, the houses are built solely by volunteers. There is one or two, but for ours it was one certified contractor of theirs, like not even like the contract in, it was their own contractor. But yeah, the rest of the actual builders, whatnot, are purely volunteer. No formal training, nothing, just... And I mean, homeowners can get some of their volunteer hours in by volunteering on the house, the build of the house. So, it just... I mean, the essence of that could be kind of cool to some people, but really when you think about it, a nobody is allowed to help build a house. Like, so, oh yes, the whole cutting corners, I got sidetracked. So, one of the volunteers for our build, he told us that anywhere they can, they will cut corners to save time, manpower, and costs. I mean, what do you say to that? Like, he's straight up telling you that's what they do. So, yeah. Our house was supposed to be built so far back from the city property, like the boulevard part there. They poured the foundation for the house way too far back from the road. Like, decent chunk. So the house itself, like the foundation of the house, was built farther back than it should have been, which meant we have far less backyard than we were supposed to, and far more front yard. Some people might prefer more front yard, some people might prefer more backyard. It's a personal preference kind of thing, but they did screw up where it was supposed to be placed in the first place. And they tried to hide it from us. In essence, like, we do prefer more of a backyard than a front yard, just because we like our enclosed privacy, you know? But yeah, like, if it happened to be a family that preferred more front yard, it wouldn't have really been a big deal. The issue was that they tried to hide it. They did hide it. There was a city council meeting to discuss legalities with our house, and that's all we were told. And I especially wanted to go at the time. I was 16, 15, something like that, around that point there. When that happened, so I was young and whatever, so I wanted to go and see what's up, so we did. And I don't remember what they told us, what Habitat told us, but they did not want us coming to that meeting. They were shocked when we showed up. And then the truth came out, obviously, because it was going to be discussed. And so we found out the truth, that the whole house was placed in a completely different spot than it was supposed to be. So that... Oh yes. So when you sell, to be essentially discharged from the house, you have to pay Habitat back a fee on top of, if you're selling it back to them, it's on top of that. But if you're just selling privately, you still have to pay them that to get out of it, the discharge. It's $5,000 and goes towards touch-ups. Even if you update everything yourself, because my first neighbor, when she moved, she did. She hired people, she had people she knew that did a good job. Everything was good to go for the new family. And they still went over everything and wasted labor, manpower, money for no reason. And they make you pay for it too. So, don't really know what the point of that was. We moved into this neighborhood. We live in a very bad neighborhood. It's filled with prostitutes and druggies, just low-life people, like, just bumming around, don't have jobs, get beyond drunk all the time, get high, not off weed, off like the harder drugs. There's violence all the time, just lots of different things. And we were promised that it would be a better neighborhood. it was a work in progress when we moved in, that they were cleaning up the neighborhood, and that's what they promised. They would be better. 7 years later, and it's gotten worse. There is a, what do you call them? Safe injection sites at the top of our street. And there's a rehab place at the other end of the street. So they go up there to shoot up, and they go back down to the other side, clean themselves up, repeat the process. That's what they do. Dun, 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 dun. So the new CEO, because like I said, the entire staff has essentially changed over. So the new CEO, he admitted to us in person when we tried to sell our house, when they had their appraiser in. He admitted that they don't build the houses properly, that they essentially lie about where the items, the appliances come from, where the materials come from. They don't build them in good neighborhoods. And he said that he would not ever live in one of Habitat's houses himself. But again, this was all in person, so, you know, no way to prove any of that, but take it for what you will. One of my neighbors of the Habitat houses, I believe it's the third, maybe fourth one down from me. In the contracts, the general contracts, when you purchase a house from this organization, it is in the contract that your family has to be the primary residence of the house all year, the majority of the year. So, like, you can go on vacation and whatnot, that's fine, but you have to live primarily in the house, which is understandable considering what the organization is for. So, this house, its primary residence has not lived physically in the house for 6.5 years. 6.5? No, that's how long we've been here. It's, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years. Basically since they moved in. They were there for a little bit, just to have initial, like, we moved in type of thing, and then they were gone. And then, ever since, there's been multiple people living there, coming, going, whatever. There's a few of the same people, and then there's different ones here or there. So, they're clearly renting it out to different families, different people, whatever. And again, everyone in Habitat knows this. The CEO, different people within, like, the associates in the store, the organization, they all know. But they don't care because they're getting their mortgage payment. They're making money off of it. Our water tank went. It's done. Just within the last 6-7 months, I'm gonna say. Which is the very, very low end of their general time frame that they're good for. So it's not like it went before it should have. It just was at the beginning of the lifespan. But when the contractor replaced it, he did say it was the cheapest model they could have possibly put in. So, and likely not new either, it was used. So. Oh, also, all of the materials that they get to build the houses are supposed to be brand new, as I said. They aren't. We've been witness to and have heard people from the organization straight up say they're from the Restore, which is their store that they get in refurbished product, used product, damaged products, whatever, from different sources. They sell them and they make revenue for their organization that way. So the product that the materials are either donated from different charities or companies that way, or they're from the Restore, so they're not new. But of course you don't know that when you buy the house in the first place. The fire alarm in our upstairs level, it goes off probably every few months. And it's not supposed to. And it's hardwired into the house. But the downstairs one never goes off unless it needs to. Yet the upstairs one goes off all the time for no reason, just because it's not like going off, it's dead. Yeah, doesn't happen to the downstairs one, and it happens for no reason when it shouldn't be dead. Our front door has never fit the frame of the door properly. There's always been a draft, and it's never locked properly. Like, it's a struggle because it doesn't fit properly. And there's always a space as the draft gets in. So it's obviously not good for safety issues, and it's not good for insulation of the house. And that's how it was built. I had a fundraiser when we found out that we got the house. Not got it, but we were picked to purchase it. So yeah, I had a fundraiser to raise money for the organization to go towards fancier stuff in our house, because they have basic stuff that they build all the houses with, and then they have, I was told that if I raised the money that it could go to, say I wanted a fancier doorknob or something, it would go to stuff like that, which that's pretty cool, whatever. I didn't expect that, but they said that could happen, so cool. So I do the work for the fundraiser, I do the work for that goes through. It's a success, kind of. I was young and it was kind of a flop, but I still raised money. So they have an announcement for a new family, the second family to move in, shortly after my fundraiser had happened. And I found it there, in front of everyone, that they were taking the money that they had promised me for our house, and I think it was the groundbreaking or something for our house. Timeline's off, but anyway. Yeah, I found out there that The money I was promised from my fundraiser to go to our house was going to be used to go to the next house being built. Not even to our house at all. And I wasn't asked. I was just told there in front of everyone. So again, what do you say? Essentially, the point wasn't, like, I didn't expect to keep the money for our house in the first place. It's just when you're told that that's what the money will be going to when you come up with the idea. And then for them not even to communicate with you before announcing to the public what it's going to be for, that's the issue. So they get government handouts and donations from different companies to keep the organization going and to make it easier on them, but they do not help families when they need it, such as the current situation, the whole virus and whatnot. Some people like us are temporarily aren't working. We still have jobs, but we're just not working right now. And they have given us a severely hard time with that. The CEO has been harassing us for a bit. He stopped after he got the clear message, but he was for a bit, for money, even after we told him what the situation was. And just all around, they get handouts like crazy, donations, and don't help families when they need it. So I just think that's kind of ironic. Last thing I'm going to mention about the topic, is the Alberta part of it, affiliate. Not gonna get too much into it, just because it's ongoing, sort of, but they are completely redoing their criteria to become a homeowner in the first place, which defeats the purpose of applying for most people, because they wouldn't qualify anymore. And in doing so, their current homeowners, they're trying to make them go by that too. So they're trying to essentially say, either you meet this criteria or you're out. As I said, it's ongoing, so I don't know. There's not been a definitive decision made about that yet. But come on. How? But anyway, that was it for this little topic here. Yeah. See you guys next time.